right, 5 minutes after 9 o'clock, it's time for a full special 1 hour edition of Veterans News. Hank Whittier is here. Good morning, Hank.
It is. It's all about me today.
Is that right?
It's about optometry, right? And we did hearing last time, and so it kind of completes that picture. So we're looking forward to hearing from you good folks. First, though, we do have 3 police officers killed in action.
Yes, 3 police officers, all killed in the line of duty. We have Police Officer David Joseph Nelson of the Bakersfield Police Department in Bakersfield, California. His end of watch was Friday, June 26, 2015. We have Correctional Officer Gregory Dale Mitchell of the Georgia Department of Corrections in Georgia. His end of watch was July 7th of 2015. And we have Patrolman John James Wilding of the Scranton Police Department of Scranton, Pennsylvania. His end of watch was July 12th of 2015.
Okay.
Do we have any local or?
No, I don't think there's anybody local. No military casualties this week, and no firefighters. So we're, not a good week, but better than most.
And so our thoughts and our prayers go with the families of these law enforcement people.
Okay. All right, Larry, I guess we can do that.
That saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I
Yep. Every week we do casualties every week, either military, firefighters, correctional officers, police officers. Just to, make sure that their names are heard one more time for the work they do. I talked to, just talking about that, I met with Sheriff Blair last week, and, I want to congratulate him and Greg Graham, the Ocala police chief, for taking those 2 young thugs off the street who had been doing all the armed robberies in town, and I kind of got a little background about how many people they had to put on extra duty, and I know Blair put 60 extra people out there on stakeouts. So, you want Marion County to be known as not a place to be doing those sort of things. And those guys were bad news. Matter of fact, I understand one of them actually pulled the trigger on the shotgun. It just was fortunate it didn't go off. So he took some bad guys off the street, he and Greg Graham. So you see those police officers and those sheriffs, people pat them on the back because they're protecting us every day. All right, listen, we're going to do a little commercial. We are actually talking about a couple of friends who make the show possible. You have that, right?
Right, and number one friend, of course, is WOCA Radio. Here, without them, we couldn't do it. And the wonderful people at Bob Wine's Camellia Garden and Nursery, which is located at 2610 Southeast 38th Street in our own beautiful Ocala. When it comes to your landscaping needs, Bob Wines has it. Everything from small plants to large trees, mulch, fertilizer, and more. Bob Wines will even deliver, they'll plant it, and they'll guarantee their trees. Bob Wines Camellia Garden and Nursery has been keeping things blooming here in Ocala since 1952. And if you're a veteran, they'll give you a 10% discount. So be sure to mention that and mention that you heard about them on WOCA Radio. And the fine folks at our Ocala Ford dealers. Now, when we say Ocala Ford dealers, it's those Ford dealers that serve Gainesville, Leesburg, the Villages, and Gainesville. And Bellevue also, I'm sorry. The main office is located right there on Pine Avenue at 2816 next to the Burger King. So just follow your nose. If you're looking for a new Ford, that's the best place to get it. If you're looking for a used Ford, they have them there too, and they have other used vehicles. If you need that hard-to-find part or you need service or repair, they're experts there. And if you're not ready to buy and you don't want a new or used car, you can lease a car there also. So get on down to your Ford dealer as soon as you can and mention again that you heard about them on WOCA Radio.
It's an obligation, being on the radio show. They have to buy a Ford 150 and take it over to Bob Wines and pick up some plants, right?
Right, or real men drive F-250s.
Stick to your story here.
That's because he has
Someone will
one.
believe that sooner or
That's
later.
because he has a 250.
Yeah, I hear you, yeah. We won't talk about that one this morning. He's missing some parts, I understand, but that's
Yeah,
all
I
right.
am.
It's okay.
Did we mention Stuff the Bus for John Rose?
Sure,
here?
go ahead.
Okay, yeah, every year, about right before school goes back, Susan McGuire and the Marion County Veterans Council does a Stuff the Bus. Okay, the next Stuff the Bus is going to happen on July 18th, so that's coming up with just in a few days, at our Walmart here on Silver Springs Boulevard. That's 4980 East Silver Springs Boulevard from 9 to 5 p.m. Now, what you're going to stuff the bus with is all kinds of school supplies. They'll have a whole list, personal hygiene items and clothes. Anything you need to stuff the bus, you can buy right there at Walmart, so you can do it while you're shopping. And please support this. And for more information, you can contact Suzanne McGuire at 352-671-6847.
Yeah, good program. It's been around for a long time. Matter of fact, we were involved in the beginning of it, and it helps, children who don't normally have the school supplies or the clothes to go back to school, be ready to learn. And it's hard to learn when you don't have the basic tools to learn with. So it's a good program, and it benefits needy children. So can't ask for anything better than that. All right, listen, you brought a lot of folks with you today, and much better looking than some of the people that came in. I won't mention names, but good looking crew, and you're going to talk about optometry.
Yes, sir. We are going to talk about our optometry department today. We have a wonderful optometry department, and we brought three individuals. We brought Dr. Shahi, who's our optometrist, and she also does low vision. Dr. Davila, who's been with us about a year, and he's a new optometrist. And Brian Runk, who's our low vision specialist, and he really does really interesting things for our veterans that are very visually disabled, and you're going to be really interested in what he has to say today.
Is that right? So he can take the blinders off that I have on?
Well, he's going to talk about all the equipment he uses, computer, telephones,
Fantastic,
TVs,
very
so
good. Looking
it's gonna be
forward to
great.
it. Listen, we do have a guest here today. John, you want to just tell them who you are?
Hey, how are you? I'm a student at CF. My name is John Sessoms, doing my bachelor program, and me and my team, we're trying to do a focus right now on veterans doing hospice care. So that's how I became affiliated with Hank, and the work that he's doing. Next week, I'd also like to just bring up that we're doing the Freedom Clinic is going to be here in Marion County, and that'll be a service to a lot of people here who may not have the resources to seek out medical treatment. So
Where is that going to be now?
that's going to be over at the Ocala Entertainment Complex. From, I believe it ends on Friday or Saturday, the 25th, but it'll be beginning during the middle of the week on like the 22nd.
Okay, very good. Appreciate that. Good work.
Well, certainly any veteran that you see that doesn't have resources to seek medical care, we need him or her to be sent to the Cascades, get enrolled. So we preach that through the community, that if you need medical care and you're a veteran, please.
Yeah, it might be a good idea to make sure they have some information over there so we can get it to you,
Be much
about
obliged,
about
thanks.
enrollment. That would be really helpful.
Talk about that at the end. Okay, let's go ahead and get started.
Go ahead.
Okay, Dr. Shai, why don't you tell us a little bit about our large optometry department and what it consists of and our future plans.
Good morning, everybody. Here in Ocala, we have been here since 2008, and our optometry clinic has a regular primary care, plus we offer low vision services. Right now we have 3 providers and 1 low vision specialist, and we are serving about 6,000 patients a year, and we just hired 2 more optometrists, along with in the process of hiring 2 more technicians, which will allow us to decrease the waiting time, and we should be able to serve almost 10,000 veterans every year.
That's terrific. And hopefully we'll get all that in place and get everybody on board. Hopefully my goal is November 1st.
Great.
Take a break?
Yes, sir.
He's going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back.
All right, we'll be right back. This is WOCA.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For today, partly sunny with an afternoon and evening thunderstorm around, the high 88 to 92. Partly cloudy and warm overnight, low 74 to 78. For tomorrow, sunshine mixing with clouds with a couple of thunderstorms around during the midday and afternoon hours, high 88 to 92. And for Friday, more clouds and sun with a thunderstorm or two likely, high 87 to 91. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hey folks, we're still talking about that fabulous truckload tree sale at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, and you know why? Because this is truly an event not to be missed. Bob's prices on trees are always the lowest in town, but during this truckload tree sale, they're even better. Bonafide savings of 33 to 66%, depending on which tree and what size. Example, a loquat, a red maple, Bob usually sells for $39.99, just $19.99 during this sale. Dozens of varieties, hundreds of trees, all on sale. And listen, giant selection of fruit trees, including peach, plum, nectarine, apple, and pear, regularly $39.99, but you buy one and you get one free. Hurry though, shop early for special summer store hours, daily till 3, Saturdays till 2. Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, Southeast 38th Street, homegrown, locally owned since 1952.
Hi, Danny Warfel here. Get moving with Florida Credit Union's fast and easy loan approval process.
Let Florida Credit Union start up a new car loan for you today. No more waiting, hassles, or stop signs. You can even apply online. With a strong financial team behind you, you can enjoy great rates and fast approvals.
It's all about personalized service and a streamlined process.
Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life.
Career Source, Citrus, Levy, Marion brings together business and community partners, economic development leaders, and educational providers to connect employers with qualified, skilled talent and job seekers with employment and career development opportunities. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. to Career Source, Citrus, Levy, Marion, and learn how they can help you.
WWOCA,
This is WOCA, News Talk 1370.
This is James Snyder, inviting you to join me each Sunday morning at 9:30 for Sunday Joy on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM.
18 minutes after 9 o'clock, let's rejoin Veterans News. Remember, today is a special edition, a full hour edition, and if there is a question you have, feel free to call in. The number is 622-9622.
Yeah, just a quick diversion. We're going to Sergeant Curley over there in the corner.
Good morning, Ocala, Marion County. Once again, is your favorite disc jockey. I'm here to remind everybody about the casino trip going down to Cape Canaveral. They'll be leaving from the Mount Moriah Bishop Baptist Church Annex at 7:30 a.m. The date of that thing is on Saturday, July 25th, 2015. And the VFW Post 7193 is sponsoring that trip. Continental breakfast will be served at Mount Moriah Bishop Baptist Church Annex from 7 to 7:30. We ask you to come and join us, and the cost is $55 per person. For more information, call Ronald Reese, 352-281-2685, or Mrs. Lizzie Lennon, 352-351-3599. Come one, come all, so we can have a good time on the water. Thank you very much.
Very good. Okay, well, let's get back to Dr. Knapp. And
Thank you very much. We have a special optometry show today, and we'll move on to Dr. Davila. Dr. Davila, tell us a little bit about a typical eye exam. If I come in for an eye exam, what does that consist of, and what do you do?
Sure. Good morning. So a typical eye exam consists of a thorough case history, pretty much discussing the reasons why you're there, or discussing the problems that you're currently having. After that, we normally do the vision check. We do the pressure checks of our eyes. We also do a assessment of the health of the front part of the eyes, and after we dilate, we go ahead and do the assessment of the back part, of the health of the back part of your eyes.
What percent of the eye exams do the patients need to be dilated?
I would say in general, when it's the first time ever being at the eye doctor's, just be prepared to be dilated.
Okay.
A complete, fully eye exam would be considered a dilated eye exam. So always be prepared in general, just to make sure that you might have your dilation at that visit.
Okay, very good. And one of the most common questions that we get as primary care, Dr. Shah, is once the veteran's examined and they get their prescription, where do they get their eyeglasses?
Actually, they get glasses in-house in our optometry clinic at the front desk. Next to the front desk, we have a Superior Optical. Once they finish the exam, they can just go ahead and order their glasses.
And does the VA pay for that?
Yes, absolutely. One pair a year.
Oh, I see. Very good.
Yes.
So if I have a prescription from an outside eye doctor for glasses and I didn't get my eye exam at the VA, can I still come in?
Absolutely. You can just bring the copy of your prescription from the outside provider, and we'll go ahead and issue them a glasses.
Wow, that's great. It's good service, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good service, yeah.
It's a great service.
Go ahead.
Okay,
I was trying to ask questions before you were done with your script, so
Okay,
that's all
well,
right.
very good. I'll ask one more question, then I'll let you ask a question. Okay, we have our low vision specialist, and Brian's been on, has spoken all over the county, and most recently to the veterans at the Ritz. And Brian, tell us a little bit about the low vision program.
Sure. Thank you. Good morning. First, I'd like to define low vision. And low vision basically means that even with the best glasses, your best prescription regular glasses, medicine, surgery, and everyday tasks can continue to be an extreme challenge. And more often, it's reading, shopping, activities of daily living, which would include cooking. Watching television is usually one of the main goals of the veterans coming in. Participating in recreational activities. Dr. Shahi and I, she's my low vision optometrist, and we work as a good team. And we often like to define low vision as just any impairment that is creating a functional problem. So it doesn't matter, they don't have to be legally blind. They just have to have some sort of vision impairment that is preventing them from participating in whatever activity that they want to participate in. Doesn't matter how slight or severe their vision is, their vision loss is, we are there to help them.
What is the corrected vision for driving?
Oh boy, you would ask me that. Florida has one of the weirdest and toughest laws for driving, and I may want to defer to you for that because
It's very confusing, and I do it on daily basis. Mostly if the patient's one eye is 2200, then they must have corrected vision of 2040 in the corrected eye. But they are allowed to drive without glasses if they can see 2070 or better.
2070. That seems very low.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
yes.
Sure.
It should be said that in Florida alone, there's 500,000 visually impaired people, and so you have to wonder how many of those people continue to drive that aren't drive or supposed to.
It's probably safe to say that if the state of Florida lets you drive at 2070, you're probably safer going to the optometry department, getting eyeglasses, and driving with better vision.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, very good.
What's the most common effect on the eyes? Is it, where people need, is it the aging, just the aging process? Is it disease? Where people need corrective vision, whether it's glasses or they need additional care, for instance, whether it's cataracts, is that pretty common percentage-wise?
I would say, yeah, cataract is just a part of aging, and then there's different grades of cataract. So depending to how your cataract is affecting your visual, let's say, activities like driving, watching television, things of that nature. If you're still able to function properly, then glasses are more than plenty. But sometimes when cataracts are too far along, then we have to go ahead and proceed with more invasive. For example, referring for cataract surgery.
And the VA does that as well?
Absolutely, yes.
You know how many we do a year? For instance, out of the 6,000 you see, Do you know how many are referred for cataract?
I can tell you on a weekly
problems?
basis, we refer about 10 patients for cataract surgery to Gainesville. And if you do the math, if we have 52 weeks, it's 520.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a pretty large
That's
number. Yeah.
just from
Just from
Ocala West,
Ocala
and if you
itself,
include
yeah,
villages
gotcha.
and other clinics, I'm
Okay.
sure.
And just want to, a lot of you see it all the time, but they selling vitamins. They're supposed to be good for your eyes. There's a lot of brands out there. I won't mention the brands, but are they effective? Are they worth the money that people pay for them?
I mean, it depends. I think before you take any kind of eye vitamins, you should go see an eye provider, get your eyes checked. There are specific formulations for diseases such as macular degeneration. So instead of just listening to your friends and they're taking so-and-so vitamins and buying for yourself, please go see even if you're not a veteran, go see your local eye care provider, take the consultation and go from there.
Now, let me ask you a question. Your clinic or your medical facility is constantly growing. You're adding new departments. You're adding, My question is, where is all this stuff taking place? Because the Cascades only got so many compartments or so many rooms. What are you tearing down walls and expanding out, or you taking over the entire second floor, or what? I mean, my question is, where do you put all this stuff?
Well, we're beg, boring, stealing space, but here's our 6-month plan. And you're correct. 3 years ago, we had 53 FTEs, and as of November, December, we'll have 80.
Yes.
And so right now, as we speak, we're expanding an extra 3,500 square feet at the Cascades.
Okay.
So they're renovating it. We'll have 3 footprints at the Cascades: primary care, new mental health, and then we'll have another space for social work, pharmacy, and of course we have our footprint over Ocala West for audiology, optometry, and we just hired 2 more optometrists.
Okay. All right.
So we will we'll by November, December, we'll have podiatry, 5 optometrists, we'll have a 10th primary care doctor.
So eventually, you're going to just take Gainesville completely out of the picture, or is that your primary goal? I mean, see, because everything that you're saying that I have to take care of is over in Gainesville, especially the optometry department. Now, if you're going to have an optometry department here in Marion County, why would I want to drive over there?
That's the whole idea. We really don't want our veterans to have to go up to Gainesville for many, many reasons. The waiting list is long, the drive is long, the parking's
atrocious.
So if we can do it here, and as far as access in primary care, we want our veterans to call us because we don't want them to drive to Gainesville. We want to take care of things here if we can.
All right. Thank you very much.
But along the same lines, I was going to ask Dr. Shahi, and does the villages, are they doing cataract surgery?
No, they are referring to Gainesville as
They
well.
are, okay. And what is the wait time if you refer them for cataract surgery? Do they get cataract surgery within 6 months or?
No, actually, it's very, very low waiting period. Usually, the wait works once the veterans see us. We do enter a consult to Gainesville, which is reviewed by Gainesville staff within 2 weeks. And most of my patients get surgery within 2 months from the original date.
That's terrific, isn't it? Good service. So you won't have to seek your medical care on the internet anymore, Hank. You can actually come to the clinic. Okay, let's go ahead.
Well, I have a lot of problems, so it takes a while. That's nothing. You can't do it all here.
Dr. DeVille, let me ask you a question that I'm presented with all the time in the clinic. How often does a typical senior over 65 with no diabetes or eye disease or anything need a routine exam? And how often do they need change in their glasses prescription?
So sure, I would typically say a patient or senior without any eye disease or diabetes, on average, I would say to be seen at least every 2 years. 2 years. 2 years. Now, it's a little bit difficult to say how often should your eyeglass prescription going to change. There's a lot of factors involved with that. For example, cataract formation, things of that nature. But I've had the experience where I've had patients who've had the same prescription, no change for the 5 or so years. And then you have the patients who change on a yearly basis. So in general, to play it safe, if you're healthy, no diabetes, in the absence of any eye condition, how often should you have your eye exam and how often should you have your prescription checked? I would say at the very least, every 2 years.
Doctor, we have to take a little break, and we'll be right back. We have the weather and a few commercials. If you have a question, by the way, during the course of the Veterans Program and you'd like to call in and ask that question, the number is 622-9622. We've got a full half hour left. It's a special 1-hour edition of Veterans News with Hank Whittier. When we come back, and Dr. Knapp is here as well. We'll take a little break and be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. One of the 7 FIFA officials arrested in Zurich in a corruption probe has been extradited to the U.S.
We don't know which suspect this is, but he's the only one who's agreed to be extradited. The others are appealing. U.S. prosecutors have indicted 14 people in total, alleging a corruption scandal dating back decades at soccer's governing body FIFA, involving $150 million of bribes.
Fox Radio's Simon Owen. Rescue teams in eastern Kentucky dealing with mosquitoes, snakes, rubble, and mud after flash flooding that's left at least 3 dead. Area resident Nikki Pridemore.
As long as I've lived here, it's never happened. And I've never seen anything like this.
At least 1 man is known missing. The fate of 4 others remains uncertain. The government says first-time jobless claims fell by 15,000 to 281,000 last week, a bit better than expected, an indication of an improving job market. Fox News. We report, you decide.
Andro 400, I really love it. I've lost 50 pounds. I was a size 38 waist. I've gone down to a 32 waist. My mood has changed. I don't get stressed out. It gave me so much more energy. It feels like I'm 25. I'm so happy. I'm just a completely different man.
Guys, if you'd like to see results like Dave Ryan's, try Andro 400, the safe, inexpensive way to boost your testosterone. Go to andro400.com or call 866-546-1955. 866-546-1955.
Advance Auto Parts knows what makes a car guy. It's working through the unexpected surprises that spring up with every project. It's character, and it isn't rattled by a little thing like a dead battery, especially when you can get a new one online at advanceautoparts.com and pick it up in store just 30 minutes later. We'll even install it for free, so you can get back to fixing faster. Advance Auto Parts, for guys who love getting under the hood.
Most vehicles, most locations. See store for details.
All right, 28 minutes before 10 o'clock, and let's return now to Veterans News, and we do have a couple of phone calls, too. By the way, if you do want to call in, the number is 622-9622. Hank Whittier, of course, is your host, and Dr. Mark Knapp is here to answer your questions, as well as a panel of specialists. And, Doctor, you do have a couple of phone calls, so are we ready to go back on? Doctor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good morning. You're on the air.
All those headaches before they happen.
Thank you for waiting. Good morning.
Good morning. I was curious, does the VA have daily extended wear contacts? I was wondering which is better. How long do they last?
Well, very good. I don't know the answer to that. We're going to turn that over to Dr. Shahi and ask her, does the VA prescribe contacts?
Good morning. Yes, VA does, but it's available only if medically necessary or if your prescription is pretty strong. There are different contact lenses, daily versus extended. Most of daily contact lens usually worn for 2 weeks, and extended you can go from 30 days to 1 year depending upon what kind of contact lenses. So to answer your question, yes, they are available only to the veterans who has a medical reason.
Okay, very good. So that's probably a small amount of our veterans.
Yes.
I think she has a second question.
Yes, go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah. Also, they have the HydroClear Plus, which have the UV blocking, and they have the breathable contact lens, night and day. Which would be better?
It depending upon your need. If you are wearing on daily basis, I would say night and day are the best. Even though most of those night and day are approved for 30-day extended wear, meaning you can sleep in them, I still think it's a great idea to give your eyes a break and just take them out at nighttime.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Very good.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for your question.
Thank you. And the phone line is open if you want to call. There were a few other callers trying to get through, but they've stopped. So when they come through, I'll let you know.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, great. Well, that's a good question. So the VA will prescribe contacts only if there's a medical necessity, not routine
Absolutely
correct. Okay, well, very good.
What, just out of curiosity, what would that necessity be? I mean, it's not available. Look, a lot of people wear them just because they choose not to wear glasses.
Yes.
So what would be the medical necessity?
If somebody has some kind of corneal transplant, or they have really strong prescription, there are specific diseases such as a keratoconus, and you cannot correct their vision with the glasses.
I got you. Okay.
Very good. Okay, let's go back to Brian, Brian Runk, our low vision specialist, who really does some interesting things. Brian, can you tell us about your home visits and how you evaluate the home for our disabled veterans?
Sure. When I complete home visits, I'm pretty much always with one of my coworkers who is referred to as a blind rehab outpatient specialist, and that's all she does is complete home visits. But usually the veteran will be referred to me for a specific reason, and that may be to evaluate the home for any safety issues or to modify appliances so that they're more accessible to be able to use. That may mean tactually marking appliances so that they can operate those. It may be something as simple as taking throw rugs and getting them either taped down to the floor because that's a mobility hazard. And a lot of times what I do when I complete home visits is I teach orientation and mobility, which is teaching a veteran skills how to independently travel using the long cane. They usually do fine within their home, but outside of the home, if they want to walk to the grocery store, if they want to check their mail, or if they want to just do some, get some exercise, and their vision is such that they can't do that without an aid. And so there's a science behind teaching people orientation and mobility. It's not just a matter of getting that long cane out there and tap, 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 and hope that the cane's going to take you where you got to go. So they have to learn those specific skills to make sure that they can travel safely, that they don't get hit by a car, and that they don't fall through a pothole. And so there's a whole science behind it. And the whole goal with everything with low vision and including the home visits is to just try and keep them as independent as possible, especially try to keep them in their home because a lot of people think that if they can't do this or do that, they're going to end up in Shady Pines. And our goal is to keep them in the home as long as they're willing and able.
How many do you do a year? How many home visits you do?
Well, our goal, and see, our numbers are entirely different than primary care. Our goal in low vision is to see 8 patients a week because I spend, between Dr. Shahi and I, it can be 2 to 3 hours per patient because we do a really intensive and extensive assessment where we do a lot of education, counseling, because a lot of these people don't know about this and they don't know about their eye condition, they don't know what's out there, they don't know what's available. They have a mindset of I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do this, and so our job is to turn all that around because they can do anything except drive.
Right. So there used to be, and I'm sure the program still exists, where we send veterans off for training, for survival skills or coping skills.
Yes, in fact,
that still exists?
Further on down for one of my questions.
I'm jumping the
I can address that now, or I can address that when we get to that.
Go ahead.
Okay. One of the wonderful things that the VA has is blind rehab centers across the country. I think there's 11 of them. And what they do there is usually they'll go through some sort of low vision, they'll maybe work with Dr. Shahi and I and get some basic skills. And then what we have is a blind rehab center in Birmingham, Alabama. We have one in West Palm Beach. And they will go there, and depending on their goals, it's a residential program. The average is about 4 weeks, and Angel Flight will transport them. In fact, I just had a veteran where he walked out his sliding glass door where he had a little runway outside his yard, and they picked him up pretty much at his door with a plane and flew him to Birmingham and dropped him off at Birmingham, and it was door-to-door service. And they will learn cooking skills. They will learn. There's an iPhone program. There's an iPad program, and it's really an intensive program where they will learn everything so that they can go back home and stay there.
Yeah, very good. That's the whole idea. I think you get a phone call, right?
Yes, sir. You have a phone call. If you put your headsets on.
Second, right.
Okay. All right. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Hey, Larry. This is Lawrence McManus.
Good morning, Larry.
And you need to get Curly out of there. He's got to go to the Veterans Council at 10:30.
I'll be there, Larry.
Hey, listen, in relation to I'm glad you've got the eye specialist on there, because I'm seeing so many of my friends that are up in age, particularly as they get into their late 70s and early 80s, ending up with glaucoma or macular degeneration, and they don't catch it until it's really late. They wait, they see changes in their eyes, and they say, well, that's just normal, I'm getting older. And the shame of it is the eye specialist could do something about it, and they just don't do it. So, I think as people get older, I think they need to go to the eye specialist more often than every 2 years. I know the doctor said 2 years, but every 2 years seems a little bit long for me. I go about every 6 months to have my eyes checked. I did have a pressure up around 22, and the doctor gave me eye drops. I'm down around 12 and 14. So it just shows that catching that early can save your eyesight.
Sure. Dr. DeVello?
Yep. So to address your question, sir, or the comment, it's really for patients who have healthy eyes within, what the question was pretty much in the absence of any eye disease in general. Every 2 years is more than fine. When a patient comes in and they're screened and they're seen, and you do find some type of issues with high pressures or macular changes and stuff like that, then the proper follow-up program would be issued for the patient, whether it's either every 3 months to get your pressures checked or every 6 months to monitor any macular changes. But overall, if you're a healthy individual and you've been seen every 2 years and there's no type of issues going on with your eyes, that should be a pretty good, at least, time for follow-up examination.
I may have misled Dr. DeVille with my question, because my second question was, how often should you go to the eye doctor if you have diseases such as macular degeneration, increased pressure, or diabetes? So we're going to ask him that as well in just a few minutes.
And you do have another phone call coming in right now?
Thank you for your question.
Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes. I'd like to know, what about eye drops? If my outside doctor prescribes these, can I get them from the VA?
Good morning. It's yes and no question. If the veteran just wants to come to the VA to get the drops, unfortunately, due to medical legal liabilities and to ensure proper medical care to the veterans, we cannot place an order for an outside provider. However, if the veteran is willing to see the VA provider as well as they can continue to see their outside provider, we are more than happy to order their medications prescribed by the outside provider.
So we need documentation and a note from the outside doctor.
Not only that, for example, if somebody has glaucoma, we have to do proper follow-up care.
Very good. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Well, Dr. DeVille, let me clarify then. I was going to ask you how often a typical senior with diabetes, and keep in mind 1/3 of all the veterans that come to our clinic have diabetes. How often should a veteran with diabetes, or even with bad diabetes or diabetic complications, be seen by an eye specialist?
Okay, so yes. So in general, once you have been given a diagnosis of diabetes, it's pretty much important for you to be seen on a yearly basis. Again, that's if there is an absence of any eye diabetic changes. But you also have to realize too, it's we grade diabetes on as mild, moderate to severe. So a mild diabetic patient might have one spot of blood in the back of either of their eyes or in both eyes, or very something mild that, again, once a year would be more than plenty. But when you start dealing with patients who have moderate amount of diabetes, throughout the eyes, or severe amount of diabetes, proper follow-up for these patients are literally about every 3 months, or for moderate amount of diabetes, likely every 6 months also. There are cases where we have to follow patients up more closely than that, but it all depends too on the degree of the diabetic changes that they have. And just a word also too, never use the excuse of having perfect vision with diabetes and not wanting to get an eye exam, because time and time again, you typically see patients who have perfect 20/20 vision, yet at times they do also have some mild to moderate and even severe diabetic changes. So vision, especially perfect vision, should never be used as an excuse as not to get an eye exam.
Very good. And one of the big pushes with your primary care physician, which is a portal to the eye clinic, is the A1C. And we've been on the radio many times talking about your hemoglobin A1C. And every diabetic in this country should know what your A1C is. And about 10% of the diabetics in the VA system have A1Cs above 9, which is very bad.
Okay.
And we have all kinds of programs, and we'll talk about diabetes again in a few months.
Well, that's a very common issue with the veterans and the general public, so they do like to talk about it and hear get some information. You get another phone call?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry. That's good.
Hey, good morning, guys. This is Charles. Quick question about the 30-day rule for appointments. How are you implementing that? And do I have to get a consult first before I go to a specialist? Or does the 30-day thing apply even to PCPs?
Thank you very much. You're talking about the choice program and our waiting list and things like that. And actually, I think we were on 2 months ago talking about choice. And I just preface my answer that this changes every time we get a directive from Washington. Right now in the VA system in Ocala, we are less than 30 days for almost every single access. And I'll give you an example. Last month, we had audiology on, and their turnaround time is 15 days. So if we put a consult in, you're seen within 15 days. For your PCP, if you need to get into your PCP, we see same-day access, and about 90% of patients get in within 72 hours. And I was just told by Dr. Shahi before the radio show that we are scheduling now all eye appointments within 30 days.
40 days.
40 days, okay, 40 days. So if we're running, so you would qualify for the 31 through 40 days if we could not get you in. And what we're doing, sir, is we're calling you on the phone. And we would tell you that your eye doctor in the VA can see you within 35 days. Would you want to be seen outside the VA, or would you want to wait for 35 days?
Okay, Doctor, we'll take another break. It's just a short 1-minute break.
So
We'll be right back.
we can come back to that in a second.
And we do have another call waiting as well.
thank
So
you.
we'll take that break and be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For today, partly sunny with an afternoon and evening thunderstorm around, the high 88 to 92. Partly cloudy and warm overnight, low 74 to 78. For tomorrow, sunshine mixing with clouds with a couple of thunderstorms around during the midday and afternoon hours, high 88 to 92. And for Friday, more clouds and sun with a thunderstorm or two likely, high 87 to 91. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Don't get caught without your daily source of senior deals. Pick up your copy of the Senior Voice newspaper. It's your source for schedule and events tailored to seniors, with information you need, like a list of free events in the area. We even have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company to you that fits your needs. And all we ask in return is that you tell them where you heard about them. For more information, call Tom's Picks, 352-804-1223. And pick up your copy of the Senior's Voice at most any business up and down the 200 corridor.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
Prestige Food Trucks, the world's leading food truck manufacturer, specializing for the startup vendor all the way up to restaurant chains, is a proud sponsor of Food Truck Talks, the weekly show heard every Wednesday at 9 a.m. on The Source, WOCA News Talk, that brings you the inside scoop, ladle, spatula, spoon, fork, and plate from inside of the custom food trucks you see in and around town. Find what makes each food truck unique in its own way, from the food they serve to how it's prepared in their custom manufactured truck. Food Truck Talks, Wednesdays at 9 a.m., sponsored by Prestige Food Trucks.
12 minutes before 10 o'clock, 12 minutes left in the Veterans Program today. And Hank Whittier, of course, is your host. Dr. Mark J. Knapp taking questions. And Doctor, I'll throw it back to you, but you have somebody else on the phone. I don't know if you want to go to that or finish your last thought.
Let's finish this last thought here. We do want to say that we are hiring 2 optometrists. They'll be on board within 90 days. And I assure our caller that all optometry appointments will be seen within 2 to 3 weeks once we get them on board. But the choice program is very complex. I know Dr. Shahi wanted to say something about that.
I just wanted you to know that even though the new patients are seen within 40 days, all of the consults entered by the primary care physicians are screened by us personally in the clinic. And depending on patient need or their request or eye issue, we try to prioritize, and sometimes we see patients next day.
correct. And actually, it's one of the best things this group does is same-day access, next-day access. And when I call my doctor, there's no way I'm getting in the next day or same day. And this group has been doing this for years. So they do a great job, and we're going to try to even do better. But thank you for your call.
And you do have another phone call. Good morning. You're on the air
Good morning.
now.
Good morning.
Go ahead. You're on the air.
Good morning.
They're there, but they're not responding. Are you there?
Good morning.
There you
Good
are.
morning.
Go ahead.
Yes. Okay. I was calling to see if the VA prescribed bifocals, and also if tinted glasses or prescription sunglasses were available.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Every veteran once a year gets a pair of standard bifocals. And as far as you have asked about tinted glasses or prescription sunglasses, depending upon once your doctor examines your eyes, if you have underlying diseases such as macular degeneration, cataracts, diabetic retinopathy, those are made medically necessary, and you will not have to pay for anything for the tint or sunglasses. However, to clarify, if a patient is a routine exam, there's no issues, they don't have any medical necessity, they can get tinted glasses within the VA at the cost of $18 to them.
Wow, that's terrific.
I didn't know that.
Thank you very much. We didn't know that.
Is that the end of the phone calls?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, very good. Let's go back to our low vision specialist, Brian Runk. Brian, you can come back and tell us a little bit about the low vision program. You said there's 11 centers through the country. Who qualifies, and what % of our low vision patients need to go to one of those centers?
I don't have the exact number for that in terms of what percentage go, but they do have to be legally blind, whereas opposed to what the criteria is to see Dr. Shahi and I. Again, it just has to be a functional impairment. To go to the blind rehab centers, they do have to have that legal blindness status, which is 2200 or worse, or less than 20 degrees of field. But in terms of, I think you asked me the question of what do we do in our clinic?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Dr. Shahi and I work very close together. We're a very good team. I've been very lucky with her. And she will do a complete eye exam, and then together with the veteran, and the key is that we involve the veteran as much as possible to create a treatment plan that has their goals. You know, we're not going to want to if they don't want to cook, we're not going to teach them skills to cook. Typically, their goal is to be able to read, and we have a wide variety of magnifiers that you're not going to find in a store. A lot of times, the veterans will feel that why bother with the magnifier? I bought one at Walgreens. You know, that doesn't work for me. There's thousands of different types of magnifiers, including electronic magnifiers that talk to you. They're always coming up with new technology. And so once we create that treatment plan, then Dr. Shahi and I will work together to train the patient with each of the devices, because we don't want to just hand out these devices that can be complicated, and we will sit down. That's why these appointments with each veteran can take 2 to 3 hours, because not only are we assessing them, counseling them, educating them, but we also have to train them with all of this equipment, so that they're not just going home with these things, and we don't want them to end up in a junk drawer because they don't know how to use it. And again, going back to, the whole goal is independence. But in addition to magnifiers, we have things such as talking products, talking watches, talking clocks, talking scales, talking thermometers, talking thermostats, talking blood pressure cuffs. I don't know how well you can.
The time is 9:53 a.m.
I had to wear that today. I don't know how well that went over the microphone.
It did. It went well.
Okay, good. And so something like that can be very meaningful, because especially to the spouse, because the spouse ends up being the talking watch sometimes, where they get tired of having to be asked what time it is 100 times a day. So we have so many. There is either a solution or a device for everything. And so when a veteran says, I can't, both Dr. Shaheen and I will say, really? And we'll pull out something and we'll say, yes, you can. Try this out. And So we really do spend a lot of time trying to cover every area and try to meet all of their goals. And they often walk in feeling very defeated, and they often walk out feeling like they've got a new lease on life, which makes it very rewarding for both of us.
It might be a good time, too, to talk about enrollment just for a minute. I mean, all these things that are available to you veterans out there, and if you need to enroll in the system. I mean, we talk about this all the time. You know, go down to the VA, give the VA a call, see if you're eligible for VA care. There's a lot of state-of-the-art things that are happening within the VA that are getting you great quality care. But if you're not enrolled in the system, you're not going to get it. And, you know, we talk about this endlessly. And I think we're going to have a special program on that coming up pretty soon. But please enroll in the VA, get yourself registered with the VA so that you can take advantage of some of these things. You earned it. You're entitled to it. These folks are willing to serve you. I know there's a lot of state-of-the-art changes and exciting things happening in the vision world. And I've met some veterans who were, you know, had trouble getting on the vans and getting to Gainesville because they couldn't see. And after some surgery or after some treatments, it's just astounding that you see them out and about, and the quality of life is so much better. But you have to get enrolled.
Yep. Yeah, the veterans think some veterans think it's difficult to be enrolled. We have an enrollment clerk, and actually many people that enroll you at the Cascades. You don't need to really do anything. Just show up. It would be great if you had your DD 214. If you don't, show up. And I didn't have my DD 214, and they got it for me within a couple weeks. So if you don't have anything, just come down, enroll, and we'll get everything set up for you, and then you have access to all the benefits that you earned.
You know, it's nice to see a doctor come to the house, too.
Well, it's unbelievable what he does, yeah. Brian was going to ask you, my mother-in-law is legally blind. How do you get them to watch TV?
Well, there's a variety of, just like with when I was talking about magnifiers, there's a slew of different devices to be able to assist someone with watching television. Some of them are easier to use than others. Some of them require a lot more training than others. But we always try to stay with the weakest binocular system as possible because you have a bigger field of view. People are getting bigger and bigger TVs now, and so if you're magnifying that 60-inch television by 4 times, you're just going to see a very small portion of it. So we have a television in the lobby, and we will assess with a variety of telescopes and different distance devices to try to simulate what it is, what their situation is like at home, and because that's a big goal. Reading and television are probably and driving, but we don't touch driving.
Okay, we're running out of time. I want a couple questions here. Let me follow up. Dr. DeVille, can you tell our audience a little bit about protecting your eyes in Florida, since we live in a state where it's sunny all day, and does the sun rays affect tumors or melanomas of the eye or anything like that?
So absolutely, Dr. Mark, Dr. Knapp. You know, we're fortunate enough to live here in Florida where we can actually enjoy the sun and enjoy the outdoors for the full year. But we always have to be mindful of UV protection or the UV exposure that sun can. One of the light has UV wavelength pretty much, which causes damage to the eyes, which could cause, for example, skin cancers like basal cell, squamous cell carcinomas. Can cause also or speed the formation of cataracts. Can cause scar tissue on the surface of the eyes called pterygiums. Can also be considered also for diseases like macular degeneration. So in general, if you like to enjoy the outdoors, whether it's playing golf, swimming, fishing and so forth, always be mindful though of UV protection because that'll definitely save you in the long run.
Good pair of sunglasses is
good. You got to remember also it's not so much the actual tint of the lenses, which tint of the lenses are going to give you more, decrease the amount of glare. But we're actually talking about the property of the material that's absorbed the UV light.
Okay. So. Very good. We're just about out of time, just about.
1.5
about a minute left. So let me remind you that this is all brought to you by Bob Wine's Nursery, Ford, Ocala, Leesburg, Gainesville, Bellevue, and other good folks, WOCA and my cousin Larry. I think actually we're closer, Larry. I've been meaning to talk to you about that. But little closer blood relationship.
We got 1 minute. I can summarize a few things.
Yeah, if you could, and then we need to sign off and make time for some
I
other
take
folks.
30 seconds. What I learned today, and our veterans always call and ask, you can get glasses through the VA. Please see your eye doctor, usually through the VA. If you have a prescription from an outside eye doctor, you can bring it to the VA, over to the eyeglass department. Some veterans, depending on need, can get cataracts through the VA.
Everybody can get cataract surgery.
Cataracts, I'm sorry, cataract surgery through the VA. And if you need contact lenses, some veterans can get contact lenses. And our diabetics and our regular veterans without any eye diseases, eye exams every 1 to 2 years, Hank.
Okay. Well, I'll remind Barsher about that. Listen, thanks for tuning in. And as I tell you every week, God bless America, everybody. Thank you, guys.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.